I'm David Robson, the author of The Expectation Effect. Now, in the early parts of the year, in the middle of winter, it's quite typical to get the Monday blues. The weather outside can seem very depressing. You know, often we've just come back from our holidays and then it can feel just too depressing to return back to work and to get into the daily grind again. But what I learned from looking into the expectation effect is that we can change our appraisal of those emotions, and that sometimes that we can learn to kind of cope with them better and even turn them to our advantage. Now, if you are feeling blue, I think the first thing that you should do is to try to differentiate those feelings in more detail. So try to put specific labels on what you're feeling, whether it's stress or frustration, whether you're feeling just generally downhearted, or whether you have a more serious mental health problem. And what we find is that when people actually put their feelings into words in this kind of way, and into detailed kind of vocabulary, that in itself can kind of shift their expectations of those feelings and just help them to feel more manageable. It makes you feel a bit more analytical about those feelings. Secondly, you should really try to nurture an attitude of acceptance initially, rather than always trying to fight them. Because the fact is that some emotions can be important signals to you, and simply recognizing that fact, that they're not necessarily something to be avoided but can actually be something that you can learn from, that can also help us to deal with the feelings more productively. Thirdly, you can try to look for ways to actively cope with those feelings. We automatically feel better if we're proactive. So seeing those emotions as a kind of signal and then acting on that, working out what you can change and what you can't change, is really important for getting over the blues. Finally, if it's the winter in particular that's causing you to feel depressed, you might learn something from a study of the wintertime mindset in Norway. Now, what this study found was that the further north people lived in Norway, the more positively they viewed the winter. They were just able to actually try to see all of the things that make winter a kind of beautiful and fun time. So they were more likely to appreciate the kind of sense of coziness you might have curling up under a blanket with a hot chocolate, or, you know, all of those kind of indoor parties that you could have around a cheese fondue set, for instance. And what they found is that actually cultivating that positive attitude to winter helped to protect people from wintertime blues, or the seasonal affective disorder. And this was true. The further north that you travel in Norway, the more likely that is to be the case. Now, in the UK, we tend to have a fairly negative attitude to winter, and it's common for us to always complain about the weather and to always see the negative in it. But simply shifting your focus may well just help you to beat the winter blues.